How many colors do you need to make a functioning video game? Only 2 colors, right? But that's the bare minimum for a 2-dimensional game. What if I told you that I made a 3-dimensional game with only 4 different colors that actually looked pretty good? Don't believe me? Well, let's get into it. If you want to watch me make other 3D games with weird styles, check out the video on the top right card. And if you have any suggestions for more videos, or you just want to say hello, leave a comment in the description, as I always love hearing what you guys have to say. For this video, I'm making a flat style 3-dimensional game, which means using minimal colors and having no natural shadows. Kind of like these games shown on screen. So to start, I browsed online for a simple color palette that I could use for the game. I looked on Color Hunt for 4 color palettes and was mainly looking for 2 things. First, it had to be bright colors for a cozy game, because I was looking for that kind of vibe. And second, I wanted the palette to be similar in color, but different shades of each other. That way, there would be an easy division between lights and dark. I eventually came across this color palette, which fit what I was looking for perfectly. After that, I made the Unity project and started adding the 4 colors to the scene and creating the basic stuff that I wanted for the game, which involved a big circular planet, as you can see. Next, I found a low poly car model online and added that into the scene. I then needed to apply all the colors that I had to the car, and the layout of the scene is done, and it looks pretty cool. I also tried a few other color palettes to make sure that this was the one I wanted to stick with, and decided that this was the best option. I guess now would be a good time to tell you guys what the game is supposed to be about. So kinda like the same idea as Subway Surfers, where your goal is to be going forward, we're going to have this car driving along a pathway on this planet, but car obstacles are going to be spawning on the road as you drive. Each time you pass an obstacle, you get a point, and your goal is to get as many points as possible. Next, I made it so that the planet would rotate under the player. Wait, what did I just say? Yeah, so instead of going the way that some would think, which would be moving the car around the planet, I decided that would be a little too hard, so instead, I decided the easiest way to make this game would be to have the planet rotating under the car with the obstacles connected to the planet. Now, in order to give the illusion that the car is really moving, I made it so that the car would be having some tire marks spawning under it that would be destroyed after a few seconds. I did this by spawning lots of small rectangles behind the car. When placed together, it looks like tire marks. Now, the issue with this approach is that it severely lags the game because you have to create and destroy multiple objects within a single second. The way that programmers get around this for games like bullet hells, where spawning lots of the same object is unavoidable, is that they create a pool of similar objects that are already created. That way, instead of creating a new object and destroying it later, you can just take an already created one and add it to where you need it to be, and then can set it to be inactive if you don't need it for now. After doing that, I was able to have tire marks spawning under the car pretty easily. The next thing that I tackled was making it so that the car was able to turn, or more accurately, the planet was able to turn under the car. Eventually, I was able to get that working. Okay, maybe it isn't working. But with the snap of my magical editing fingers and multiple hours of work that you aren't seeing, it is now working. And I also made the car rotate depending on the way it was turned. Yeah, there were so many issues that are being shown on screen right now that I couldn't be bothered to go through them all, but all that matters is it works now. Next, I wanted to add in the border that the car would be inside of while avoiding the obstacles. I decided to just add some trees to the sides of the road so the player can't leave the area. I found this tree asset online and then solid purple colored it, and then made the trees spawn on the sides of the road. And OMG, how shocking. I once again ran into a lot of issues, this time with getting the trees to spawn consistently. So eventually I decided to just make the trees not spawn and just stay where they are forever because I'm lazy. Next, I decided to try and get the obstacle spawning, and after lots of trial and error, eventually I got the spawning of the obstacles working, and then added in functionality so that it would detect if you should die based off if you either leave the tree area or if you hit one of the vehicles on the road. Next, I made it so that hitting an obstacle would restart the game scene so that you could try again for a new high score, and then also made the car obstacles be more interesting with some moving parts in them. Finally, I added in a score system at the top of the screen, and the game is finished. And we can see that we completed our goal of creating a 3D game with only 4 different colors.
If you like this video and want to see more like it, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel because it really does help me out. And also consider joining the Discord channel in the description of the video if you want to join our community. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.